Look at this. You know what this is. You have seen this already a bunch of times now. This is just a string. We are printing that string. So let's just run this code to make sure. And here's the output. And this is what we expected. There is no surprises here. So let's do something different to this code. Oops, I made a mistake. No, it's good. Let's run it. Okay, this is now the output. Hello, but there is a little difference. This is now lowercase. It was uppercase before. This is what did it. So what is this? This is something called a method. In this particular case, this is the lower method. But what is a method? What are they used for? Well, they can do many things, but the general idea is that they perform an action on a piece of data. In this case, the piece of data was the hello string, and this particular method, the lower method, is used to convert the characters of strings to lowercase, as you can see here. And what about the dot? Well, the dot is there to tell Python on which piece of data to perform the action. The rule is that the piece of data that is before, that precedes the dot, is the one on which the method is applied. And what about the parentheses? The parentheses are there for cases when we might want to give the lower method information to further customize the action performed on, in this case, the string hello. And we would put that information within the parentheses. We will see examples of that throughout the course. Now, can you apply the lower method on a different value type, like an int? This. Let's try. No, you got an error message. Do you think you can convert a number to lowercase? You cannot. This is not a thing for numbers. This is only a thing for letters, which is something you only find in strings. It does make sense that each value type has their own available methods, right? You can imagine it this way. The lower method is like a button, only available with the string type, so that you can only push that button on string types. Other types, they just don't have this button. I guess you might find the button analogy unnecessary. I don't share that opinion. This analogy will set you up good for an easier understanding of the nature of methods, which is something we'll look into once we get to the topic of classes. For everything that I teach you, I want to give you a real-life scenario, a situation where that thing could be used. So look at this. I've opened the website here. This is a phone book web application, and I have saved a few names here to prepare for this lecture. And now I need to call my friend Sandra, so let's look for a name. I'll start with S, and it's saying here that there is 11 contacts and showing 3 at the moment. So let's proceed. None of these is Sandra, so I'll go with A, and there is 3 contacts, and one of them is indeed Sandra. Okay, so we found it. What this is showing me now is all the names, well, 3 of the 8 names that start with S and A. Let's proceed and see how it goes. San, now it's showing me all the names starting with S, A, and N. And let's do this. This is the only name in the contact list that starts with send. So we found it. But how is this possible? What did we experience here? How does a search engine like this one work? It compares the names we enter in the search bar with every name stored in the phone book, character by character. As long as the sequence of characters match, you'll be shown the matching names. And that, I guess, just about everyone just intuitively knows, right? And you also probably know by experience with your phone that case is ignored, so that if we were to type this, Sandra all in uppercase, or this, we'd still get the same result. Do you think that's obvious? That's not so obvious, because in programming, each letter is its own character. Capital S is a character, and lowercase s is another character. They are completely different things in programming. So how can this app match this with this if some of the characters here are different from these ones? A way this could be done, if writing this application in Python, is by internally converting everything the user enters to lowercase. By applying to it the lower method, and by also in the same way internally converting to lowercase each stored name. So in reality, the app converts all names to lowercase. All names, those that you enter here in the search bar and those that you store, to lowercase so that it can compare them. So that's how it is. This one that we saw was one usage of the lower method, but in general, the idea is to use a method like this one to compare strings and ignore case. Okay, let's now just remove this. And I want to clarify something for you. So just have a look at this for a second. Yeah, I mean, let's just prepare this as well. Okay, in case you have been wondering, anything in a string that is already lowercase, or is a digit, or is any other non-letter character, is just left as it is. So let's run it. Oops, we forgot to apply the method, the lower method. Let's run again. All right, as you can see here, CEO is the only thing that changes. Memo was already lowercase, and the method does not apply to this. This is just digits, and this is also another non-letter character. Okay, let's now explore a different method. I'm just going to run it and let's see what it does. Here's the output. What is the change here? The change is that we converted the first letter of each word to uppercase. And this is what the title method does. It is used to capitalize strings, which means to convert to uppercase the first letter of each word. So how can something like this become useful? You know, websites that promise you to gift you something like an ebook, a guide on something, in exchange for your email and name. So let's try this with this website. I'm going to type in my name and my email address. So if I click here, this website is going to send me an ebook on watercolor. Before I do that, just pay attention. I've kept everything lowercase here. So let's send this request. Okay, I am now in my email and I have received that email with the watercolor ebook. And here is the content of the email. Hey, Jean-Luc. As you can see, the first character of Jean is an uppercase and the same goes for Luc. And if you built a website with Python, you could achieve the same thing by applying the title method on whatever name is entered by the user. Now, this was important because replying to someone with a correctly capitalized name makes it look more professional. You cannot trust users to enter their names correctly. Okay, forget about the previous method and look at this. I guess you can deduce what this method is for. Print it if you want to make sure that you're right. So what one use for the upper method? Think of Microsoft Word. I type scratch me and I'll select this. I'm going to go to this icon here and click on uppercase. And my text has been uppercased. Now, Microsoft Word is not built in Python, but if you were coding a similar app in Python, you could use the upper method to achieve this. For example, by setting an icon like this one with an option like this one here to apply the upper method to whatever text the user highlights when the option is clicked on. Okay, before we conclude this lecture, hear this. I have been using methods directly on values, like this. But can you also use them on variables? Watch this. I'm going to remove this from here. All right, let's just run it. And here is the output. Okay, this is uppercase now. Great. But do you think the value associated with message is still the same, or was it updated? Is it lowercase SOS, or is it uppercase? Let's check. Let's just print message without applying to the variable the upper method. All right, so we have SOS here, and this output is caused by this line. It is uppercase here. And then we have the second SOS, which is caused by the print on the fourth line. As you can see, the value associated with message has not changed. It's the same. But why is that? Well, the upper method used this way in the print function, all it is doing is modifying the way the value associated with this variable is shown on the screen and you print it. To actually change the value associated with message, to actually update the variable, you need to use the assignment operator. There is no assignment operator here, so the value of message has not changed. Alright, here's how you actually update a variable by reassignment. This line on line 4 is how you do it. So what do you think that happened? Don't get confused. Here is what's happening. This is the message variable, and this is associated with the SOS value at the moment in lowercase. To this, we apply the upper method. So what's going to happen? It's actually now SOS in uppercase. And we assign this SOS in uppercase back to the message variable by using the assignment operator. So let's run this just to confirm. Alright, here's SOS in lowercase, and it's happening because we printed message here on line 3 when it was still SOS in lowercase. Then we updated the variable, we printed it again on line 5, and here is the output of that line. But if you only want to print a modified version of the variable, and you want to keep the value associated with that variable as it is, you can just do this. You have a choice. And as we progress with this course, the importance of having a choice between the two will become clearer.